Okay, so just a quick side note before I actually play the video that I filmed for you guys. I do not match. I filmed 3 videos this day, and I just changed my tops thinking that you wouldn't be able to see my bottoms, and it worked for 2 of them, but not for this one. I was going to re-record, but you wouldn't have gotten that raw emotion that you will see, because I definitely cried in this video. So yeah, that's just a side note before we actually show the video, but enjoy. So about a month ago, there was some news that broke that a teacher was going to meet this, well, an old teacher, he does not work at this, going to meet up with an underage boy, I think like 15 years old, to, you know, do the deed. But since then, there has been like this little Me Too movement at my school, and they have been talking about their experiences. Now, I am not here to share anybody else's experience. I'm not here to share what I saw because I did join the group to hear. Really, I was just being nosy. That's why I joined the group. But seeing that so many people had similar experiences and very different experiences, but still terrible experiences at CVCA was just very interesting to me. I'm not here to really bash the school. They just have some serious things they need to work on, and I'm here to share my experience. I started going to Christian school when I was in 1st grade, and when I was younger, I didn't really notice much. I went to Chapel Hill Christian School in Green. I didn't really notice much at all. I didn't really, like, we were all like really small. We weren't thinking about nothing other than playing and eating crackers, like whatever. So it was just whatever. I feel like as maybe like 4th, 5th, 6th grade, I started noticing that one, our class sizes were abnormally small compared to other schools. I noticed that at a young age, 5th grade. And 2, that I was like the only black kid in my class. So I'm already in a class of 12 people and I'm the only black girl in there. And it didn't really faze me at all, ever. Like, I think other things going on fazed me more than that fazed me, like maturing a lot. I matured at a younger age than all of my classmates. So I think stuff like that was more of what I was thinking about, and not being the only black kid in the room. So that's awesome, right? I guess that's awesome. So then I go to CVCA. I was really nervous because I was going to school with kids that I knew, but I was going to a completely different school. And year 1, I started at 7th grade, was all right. Like, nothing sticks out too much. I didn't have trouble making friends. It was way different to see so many black kids, but there really was not a lot. Let's make that clear. There was like 10, but that was a lot to me. So it was fun hanging out with the black girls, like whatever. Because at first I didn't hang out with them because I hung out with the volleyball girls, and then I started hanging out with them like way more, and I built some really good friendships that no longer exist, but they were really good friendships. I appreciate you all. Like, this racism in my whole entire life was in 8th grade, and it was at CVCA. I will never forget this day ever in my life. Like, the principal not the principal, the teacher, Mrs. Fields, I'm gonna put you out there, girl. She literally said a prayer quoting some scripture about the end times, or about like the devil or something, and how it's gonna be a man that nobody expects, talking about Barack Obama. And how she didn't want her child to be born in the world where he was the leader, because basically the world was gonna end. That's how I interpreted it. And you can ask all the other black kids in the class. Like, she was talking real crazy, and she was praying this prayer, and I remember just sitting there like with my head down, like laughing in my head, like, are you serious right now? Are you seriously praying this prayer in front of people who support him, for one? Like, we couldn't even be happy and celebrate our win. And I remember one of my friends was like really upset, and she loved black people, and she was like, I love black people, but I don't want him to be my president. And I was just sitting there like, girl, chill. Like, Donald Trump's the president, and I'm not over here crying. And don't even get me started. I'm not over here crying. So apparently a lot of teachers were saying things that they shouldn't have been saying in all different classes, and so they held this special assembly, basically saying that we need to come together in unity, and this is a time that we should be coming together and not coming. I remember when Trayvon Martin died, that's when I was really like, wow, like people don't like black people. Like that's crazy. Like people really don't like black people. And I remember one of my classmates put up like a sign on their locker saying like rest in peace to Trayvon Martin, because that honestly was and for you, like you have kids advocating for something they believe in, and for y'all to like do that to our community was, the more like when I look back on it, I'm just like, whoa. Because the girl was basically just saying like rest in peace to him. Like I don't remember what she said, but it was just like a little sign with his picture on it, and it was like totally harmless. It didn't say anything rude to the opposite race. Like first of all, the man who killed him wasn't even technically white, so just throw that out there. He wasn't even technically white, but it wasn't shading nobody. It was just respect. It was very respectful. I remember Mr. Peters put you out there too, tore it down, and didn't give her a reason until she went to like admin. Well, she went to like the principals. I don't know if they're considered admin. And just question like why it got taken down. So I'll never forget that. I'll never forget when I was picked on by the black boys in middle school. I will never forget that. They picked on me. They said I had a mustache, which I don't. And never mind, I was really about to say something. Never forget, and I will never forget when this black boy in particular picked on me in high school. He was our class president. He had lots of mean things to say about me that were just rude. He said I looked like Harriet Tubman, and I took that to offense, but the more I think about it, it's just like, first of all, she wasn't old, but you know, like she was older than I was, so for you to compare me to her, it's just a terrible comparison. But second of all, she did some great things, so thank you. But that was hurtful, and the school did absolutely nothing about the bullying. Nothing. And I just felt super betrayed by that school, because it was supposed to be a private Christian school that practiced Christian beliefs, but they were so hypocritical and rude. Like I remember they wouldn't allow this girl to walk because she got pregnant. She finished schooling, just not at school. I know some kids who were struggling with mental health. They weren't my friends, but I know the school did not have any resources for that. Another thing that I experienced was I broke my hand senior year, and this just shows you God's love, man. Does this show you God's love? My government teacher, so y'all can figure out who that is, he's already mentioned in this video, made me write out, like he did essay tests. He made me write out a whole essay test with my left hand, because my hand that was broken was my right hand. Class ended and everything. I had to stay behind for the next class period. Still was working very diligently to write with my left hand to finish this test. And then he's just like, just give it to me. And then he gave me an A and then sent me on my way. Like really, like I sat there struggling, and this is what you're doing. That's awesome. Another thing that I experienced while I was there, didn't happen to me, but I was there when it happened, was this teacher. There was this teacher there, and a child drew a picture of the teacher getting lynched. It was a black teacher. It was the only black teacher there at the time, and the school did absolutely nothing about it. Like he didn't get suspended or anything. Meanwhile, this dude got like some sexual action and got kicked out for it, but the girl still stayed at the school. And like I like the girl was cool. Like I was with the girl this summer, like whatever. But it's just like, and the dude it happened to was a black boy. And so just looking back on all of this, it's just like, really, CVCA? And from the moment I graduated CVCA, I told myself I was never going back. I went back for my cousin's volleyball game, and I went back to drop my cousin's volleyball stuff off. Like those are the only 2 times I think I've been back at that school. I don't like that school. I can't even say that the school's the reason why I'm as successful as I am today. Not saying that I'm extremely successful, but I did very well in college. I got a full ride to college, but I just believe I'm a Capricorn and I work hard. Like when I'm determined to do something, I'm gonna do it. When I don't feel like doing it, I'm not gonna do it. So I just think in general, I'm just a motivated person, and I think I would have excelled at a public school also. So I don't know, but I just always told myself, like, I definitely think I want my child to go to a private school, but I don't think I really want them to go to a private Christian school. And it's because of my experiences at CVCA. Like, I don't feel comfortable sending my child to a private Christian school because all of the Christians there were hypocrites. Literally, they were hypocrites. And I didn't even get into all the stuff with volleyball that I'm not even, like, volleyball is a whole nother nightmare not talking about. But basically I ended up quitting the volleyball team because I just felt like I was treated so poorly, and so I quit. And when the coaching staff changed, I rejoined. But that was something I really enjoyed. And I know politics happen everywhere. Like, kids of teachers are always excelling more than just regular kids. I get that happens everywhere, but it's just sad to see that happening at a place that people should be held to a higher standard. So yeah, like, I don't know, I don't have no really positive things to say about CVCA. Like, yeah, I had some great memories, but I think those memories were more so produced by, like, myself and my friends. At that school, you have teachers marrying students and just real crazy things happening. So yeah, like, my view on Christian school just isn't good. And I would never blame my mom. I think sometimes when I talk to my mom about my experiences at CVC, I'm about to cry because I sound so ungrateful, but I'm very grateful. I'm gonna cry. This is real. I'm very grateful for my mother because she sacrificed a lot to send me to private school. And so I'm grateful for that. I love my mom so much, which is why I'm crying, because, and she's gonna watch this, she's gonna be like, wow, Jasmine, you're stupid. But because I'm not always the best daughter, but I really do love her so much. So I'm appreciative for the sacrifices she made to send me to private school, but I hated it. I hated it so much. And she even offered to let me go to Hovind, but I wanted to play volleyball so bad, but I ended up quitting volleyball anyways, and the rules were like, you can't go there and play. So, and like, I was really cool with the coach there at the time. But anyway, about how you got 7th graders going to school with 12th graders. That's weird. That should not happen. And they added 6th graders, I heard. Well, I know because I still know people who go there. They're just on and I know they try to keep them separate, but like, I remember myself, a little 7th grade girl, interacting with 10th grade boys, and not in like a weird way, but just having that, like, they're just in the hallways with you, and not even just the boys, the girls who I interacted with, but just giving you an example. Like, yeah, that school is very flawed. They need to get it together. And then while I was there, something else that also happened is a teacher married a student. One of the girls in my class ended up marrying one of her teachers, which is just so strange to me, but that's not my business. That's not my business. Men hugging the boys and just things you look back on and you're like, why was this happening? Like, why are you like, you shouldn't, like, you need to know, you have to have boundaries when working with kids. I work with kids. You gotta have boundaries. Like, you got to, like, you gotta have boundaries. And they just be hugging each other. Like, you could friend request a teacher and they become your friend on Facebook. Like, that type of stuff should not be boundaries at that school, which is why all of this stuff has been happening. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. When I was there, one of the coaches got caught in a prostitution scandal as well and had to get fired. Like, I don't know. And as you can see, it just happened now in 2018, so obviously it's an ongoing issue that they need to figure out and that they need to fix. And supposedly they're working on fixing some things. Only time will. So interesting because so many people had racial problems at that school. So many people weren't accepted because they identified as gay, lesbian, whatever. Like, it's just so crazy. Like, it's so, they need to work on bullying. They need to work on their teacher-student boundaries, and they need to work on advocating for all. no matter if you're gay or straight, you still need Jesus's love, okay? Like, that is such a controversial topic, but I don't care what nobody says. Above all, love your neighbor as yourself. Stop hating on people. So they need to advocate for all. And I think a mental health professional needs to be based in that school, not a guidance counselor, not a school guidance counselor, a clinical and mental health therapist.